Hello everybody, Sander here. Pardon me while I sip. It's all faded, but this is my favorite mug. It says his, So, today's video, um, I don't know if I've talked about this before. I feel like I may have, mentioned it just briefly in the past. But, lately I've been experiencing dysphoria again. It comes and goes in waves. I've mentioned that. Like, sometimes I'm totally fine just chilling, and then other times I get, like, really worked up and start, questioning my gender again, because I feel that's all being non-cis is about, is continually always questioning your gender. It's like this ongoing thing. But lately I've been wearing my binder more, and I put my Sander makeup on for the first time in a long time, and I've become strangely obsessed with bottom surgery. I mean, I don't even want bottom surgery, but I've been watching tons of videos, all kinds of videos about, phalloplasty and what metaplasty is, that how you say it, all that. Just, I don't know. Just, I like thinking about being a guy and being whole, because I sometimes feel like things are missing. And so, with all this going on, all this dysphoria and everything, what I'm about to say is like, it hit really different. It hit really hard. So, I'm a writer and I do scripts. I was a theater major, and I got into theater when I was a teenager. Um, I did these summer camps, and I got to know the owner of the theater really well. She eventually broke off to start her own theater company. I helped her start it. I was an intern and all that. And they're doing a new play reading series where they're looking for local, unique playwrights. So I reached out to her and submitted some stuff. But while we were talking, she brought up this guy. He was my director, teacher, whatever you want to call it, in the summer camps. I knew him for 4 summers. And wow, I don't even know where to start. I thought I was in love with him because I was so obsessed with him. And he was like all I could think about for 4 years, and how I wanted to be with him. And of course, he's got a girlfriend, and I'm like, oh, the girlfriend's terrible. Like, she treats him bad. I would treat him better. Blah, blah, blah. He was 12 years older than me, or is rather 12 years older than me. And we haven't spoken in 12 years. It'll be 12 years since the last time I talked to him. And that surprised this woman who runs the theater company, because we were so close. We were so close. I chose to go to his alma mater, okay, and go through the theater program that he went through. And so we were like, and there was a lot of moments that I misconstrued looking back, that now, like, he was 29, I was 17 the last time we talked, and I, for some reason, thought some of what he said and did was like mixed signals or whatever. But now that I'm going to be 29 in like 3 weeks, and I work with 17-year-olds, since I'm, daytime job was working in this fast food joint, I'm like, I could never be really attracted to 17-year-olds. However, I was not your normal 17-year-old. And he would say that all the time, that I wasn't, because I had to grow up really fast. So I've always been, I was like 17 going on 47, and now I'm like 29 going on 80. But I thought that I had all these feelings because I wanted to be with him. And the truth of the matter is, that was never the case. I was never actually in love with him. I told him I was. Left a voicemail because he wanted to come see me at school when I went away to college. He's from there. His parents live like 10, 15 minutes away from the college. So he's telling me I could go hang out with his parents if I ever needed like a free hot meal. And whenever he came back to town, we'd get a coffee and hang out. And, my mentors were his mentors. When he was there, there were pictures of him on the walls in the theater. Like, it was this whole thing. And I just wanted to start over and finally let him go, because, forbidden love and all that. And I used him as a scapegoat all the time because I was like, oh, well, I'm not attracted to boys and men because I'm in love with this person I can't be with. And that's why there's no attraction. It didn't even occur to me it might be because I'm a lesbian. But the reason I bring all this up on this channel is because I wanted to be him. I mistook admiration for attraction because I had never heard of, honestly, like, I didn't even really know trans guys were a thing. Like, I knew about trans women, but of course, I didn't know a thing about non binary. I didn't know gender fluid, none of that. I didn't even really know much about lesbians at the time. Like, I thought in my brain, like, the only thing I could possibly be was a cis het. I didn't know I had options. I don't know if that's the right word, but I didn't know there were other avenues that could be me, that I could identify with. And because of that, my brain didn't know how to make sense of what feelings he stirred up in me. I mean, he's 6'4", decent looking, extremely talented. I mean, I went to his shows to watch him act. Like, I'm telling you, we were like that. And he was just funny and kind and nurturing. When I had bad bipolar days, like I had one day where my bipolar was off the charts bad, and I just kind of like secluded myself from everybody. He called my house, and he ended up talking to my mom to make sure I was okay. Like, he was just that kind of guy, and we had a lot of the similar tastes. But I got to a point where if it was like his favorite band, like Oasis, for example, it was his favorite band, I started listening to Oasis, and it became one of my favorite bands. I started watching the same movies. I started, you know, I saw that he had gone to Catholic university, and that really started to pique my interest a little bit more in Catholicism. And so it was just like, I thought I was doing all of those things so he'd like me. So he'd be like, look how compatible we are. Maybe there's a chance that once I hit 18, something might happen. But no, I was just trying to absorb as much of him as I could, because when I saw him, I was just like, this is everything I want to be. But how do you make sense of that when I was already going through major bipolar problems. I was self-harm, my medications were messed up. I had just gotten out of the hospital when I was 12. So it was only a few years fresh out of the hospital when I met him. And I had a lot of issues at home, and there was so much going on that, like, it was such a difficult time already. I was already so confused about so many things. And then there he is. And I regret sometimes leaving that voicemail. And I did send him an email later on. Why, I don't know, but he didn't answer that either. And I mean, if I hadn't met him, I would not have gone to Marshall University. If I had not gone to Marshall University, I wouldn't have met the woman who changed my life. One who showed me that lesbianism, that's me. And that's when I started addressing masculine again. Because there was a brief phase when I went to college that I thought, I gotta wear a skirt and a blouse and have long hair and try to find a boyfriend. That's what I thought I had to do. That's what people my age were doing. And then I go to West Virginia where nobody knows me, and I cut my hair short, and I worked as a carpenter, and I was like, just like, I dressed terrible, man. I had like just like Hanes under t-shirts and like sweatpants, and I had my tool belt and everything. And I just got to the point where I just got more and more comfortable with myself because I was so far away from home. My parents weren't around to see me or stop me from doing anything. And so I owe him a lot. I do. I feel like everybody comes into our lives for a reason, whether it's a positive or a negative one. And as much pain as I experienced through those years, thinking, oh, I've got this forbidden love. Yes, I need him in my life, but oh, I can't. He's got a girlfriend, and it would be illegal because I'm underage. And it was a tough time. I mean, I had pictures of us. I had his picture in my wallet. Like, it was so confusing. And sometimes I wish I could make amends with him somehow. But according to the lady I spoke with, he's out west now. Um, he's in the same state that his girl's from, because I know they got engaged like a couple months after we stopped talking. It was thanks to Facebook. I knew that. So that was 12 years ago. So they're probably married with a couple of kiddos by now. But it just amazes me how the mind can play such tricks on you. And I think that's something that I've heard a couple other people say that were, non-cis, is that they mistook attraction to somebody. When it's admiration, it's a completely different thing. Wanting to be somebody and to be with somebody, the distinction is so blurred. It is so blurred, as I discovered. So, it got to me hearing his name again and hearing about where he is now and having somebody be like, well, what do you mean you haven't talked in so long? Like you went to his college, like you were tight. Like why aren't you speaking? Of course, I didn't want to say why. So anyway, thanks for watching this very long video, but I just wanted to post this because I wanted other people to realize that sometimes, you really need to think about where your love lies. Do you really love that person? Or are you in love with that person? Because I loved him dearly as a friend. And I really messed things up because I didn't realize that that's not the same kind of love as romantic love. So it's just something to think about, something to explore. So anyway, thank you again for watching. I get kind of worked up when I talk about him. This is such a huge part of my life that I pretend didn't happen. But I'm hoping to get some new gear, like a new binder. And if I do get a new binder that I haven't done a review on, I will be posting that. So until then, happy 2023. Hope it treats you well, and I will catch you later.